Good afternoon, dear students. Today we are going to discuss about fecal and non-fecal coliforms. Now, what is the basic? See, all of you now know what coliforms are. What are coliforms? They are gram-negative, aerobic to facultatively anaerobic, lactose fermenting with acid and gas production within 24 to 48 hours of incubation. So, coliforms are gram-negative bacteria. They are short rods. They are non-sporulating organisms. They are aerobic to facultatively anaerobic. They ferment lactose with acid and gas within 24 to 48 hours of incubation. Now, we here today are going to discuss about what is the basic difference between fecal coliform and non-fecal coliform and how to identify them by growing in the medium. The important members that belong to coliform group are Escherichia coli, which in short we call as E. coli. E stands for Escherichia, the genus Escherichia. So the important members of coliform group are E. coli, Escherichia coli, E. frundi, Escherichia frundi, and Enterobacter aerogens. Okay, these are the important members. Of these three, E. coli, that is Escherichia coli, is a fecal coliform because it is always present in the fecal matter of man and animal. Right. Enterobacter aerogens is a non-fecal coliform because they are rarely present in the fecal matter. E. frundi represents intermediate category between fecal and non-fecal coliforms. Right. Now, thus, on the basis of the habitat, the occurrence and various properties exhibited by the coliforms, they are characterized into two major groups. Number one, fecal coliform, and number two, non-fecal coliform. Okay. So, coliforms on the basis of their habitat, occurrence, various properties, biochemical reactions, they are classified into two categories. Number one, fecal coliforms, and number two, non-fecal coliforms. Right. Now we are going to discuss few points which will help us in differentiating fecal coliforms from non-fecal coliforms. The first one, that is origin. What is the origin? Now fecal coliform E. coli are always present in the fecal matter of warm-blooded animals, so you can say human beings, but they are rarely found in grass and soil. Okay. So the origin of fecal coliform, it is always present in the fecal matter. Okay, but Enterobacter aerogens are present in grasses, soil, that means they are present in vegetation, right? So that is the origin, difference between the origin of the two organisms, right? Number two, habitat. Now the most common habitat of fecal coliform is the intestine of man and animals, right? What is the habitat of fecal coliform? Intestine is the common habitat of fecal coliforms, whereas non-fecal coliforms are rarely present in the intestine. So where are they present? They are present in soil grasses, that means they are present in soil vegetation. Okay, that is the habitat. Now if you look at biochemical characteristics and if you look at gas production by the organism, the typical strains of E. coli, that is fecal coliforms, produce 25% of gas in Durham's tube from lactose. Okay, the typical strains of E. coli, Escherichia coli, that means you can say fecal coliforms produce only 25% gas in the Durham's tube from lactose fermentation. When the organism is grown in presence of sugar lactose, it ferments lactose with the production of acid and gas. But how much gas is produced? Only 25% of gas. That too, it produces CO2 and hydrogen gas in equal proportion, 1:1 ratio, and hence it is called as low ratio organism. It is called as low ratio organism because it produces CO2 and H2 gas in the proportion of 1:1 and it produces only 25% of gas. Whereas typical strains of Enterobacter aerogens, that means non-fecal coliforms, produce 75% of gas. Non-fecal coliforms produce 75% of gas in Durham's tube from lactose fermentation. It produces carbon dioxide gas and hydrogen gas in the ratio of 2:1 and hence it is called as high ratio organism. Okay, so fecal coliform, low ratio organism, produces 25% of gas. Non-fecal coliforms are high ratio organism, produce 75% of gas. and CO2 and H2 gas in the proportion of 2:1. Now, if you perform IMVIC test, now we are going to study IMVIC test in details hereafter, but if you perform IMVIC classification test consists of 4 tests. Indol test, I means indol test, number second, MR means methyl red test, VP means Voges-Proskauer test, and C means citrate test. So if the organism is fecal coliform or E. coli, it will give indol test and MR test positive, VP and citrate negative. If it is a non-fecal coliform, that is Enterobacter aerogens, it will give indol and MR test negative, VP and citrate positive. If it is an intermediate organism, E. frundi, it will give you MR and MR positive, VP, indol, VP all negative, citrate also negative. Citrate is sometimes variable. Okay. So this is the IMVIC classification. So depending upon gas production, IMVIC classification and special differential test, we will be able to identify whether the coliform that is present in the water or water sample is fecal or non-fecal. Now, this is differential test for fecal coliforms. It is also called as elevated temperature test. Elevated temperature test is supposed to be the most reliable test for differentiating fecal and non-fecal coliform. Elevated temperature test was proposed by Isaac Mann in the year 1904. The test is based on the assumption that fecal coliforms present in warm-blooded animals produces acid and gas in lactose broth even when they are grown at 45.5 to 46 degree Celsius. Okay. The medium used here is buffered tryptose lactose broth. Okay. So, if fecal coliform E. coli is present in the sample, then it will grow in the medium buffered tryptose lactose broth and it will produce acid and gas even when the temperature used for incubation is 45.5 to 46 degree Celsius, right? If we use another medium buffered boric acid lactose broth, it exhibits gas production, it inhibits gas production from Enterobacter aerogens and other intermediate organisms. Whereas practically all fecal coliforms, that is E. coli, produces gas within 48 hours. Okay. E. coli produces gas within 48 hours in buffered boric acid lactose broth, whereas gas production from Enterobacter or non-fecal coliform or intermediate organism is inhibited in buffered boric acid lactose broth. So you can use specific media and confirm whether the coliforms present are fecal in origin or non-fecal in origin. Now, for your information, I would like to explain you the elevated temperature test for differentiation of coliforms in detail. Okay. The elevated temperature test used for differentiation of coliform was proposed by Isaac Mann in the year 1904. The test is based on the assumption that only fecal coliforms from warm-blooded animal could grow at 45.5 to 46 degrees Celsius with the production of acid and gas in lactose broth, buffered tryptose lactose broth. So only fecal coliforms from warm-blooded animal can grow in the medium and produce acid and gas at 45.5 to 46 degrees Celsius. Further, Stuart et al. In the year 1942, he found that Enterobacter aerogens and intermediate organisms seldom or rarely produce acid and gas from lactose at 45.5 degrees Celsius. Okay, what Stuart et al. Found? The non-fecal coliform, the intermediate organism, they rarely or seldom produce acid and gas from lactose when grown at 45.5 degrees Celsius. Whereas E. coli rarely fails to do so. Meaning what? E. coli maximum times mostly produces acid and gas at 45.5 degree Celsius. Okay. Here intermediates closely resemble Aerobacter aerogens, or that is non-fecal coliform. See, it is Enterobacter aerogens. It was earlier called as Aerobacter aerogens, right, which is a non-fecal coliform. Now, in the year 1945, Taylor et al. Reported that 97% cultures of type 1 E. coli, that is fecal coliform, ferment lactose with the production of acid and gas between 40 to 44 degrees Celsius. Here we are going to focus on the temperature at which incubation of the medium is done or the organism is grown. Right. Now at 40 to 44 degrees Celsius, 97% E. coli produces acid and gas. Okay. The number is not reduced when the medium is grown at 45 also. The organism produces acid and gas. But when you grow the organism at 46 degrees Celsius, the number is reduced. Okay. Matlab, you can say that not 97% is reduced down when the organism is grown at 46 degrees Celsius, but still the organism grows at 46 degrees and produces acid and gas. On the other hand, only 15% cultures of typical Enterobacter are found to be positive at 44 degree. That means you can say 85% of non-fecal coliform Aerobacter or Enterobacter does not produce acid and gas in lactose at 44 degrees Celsius. And only 2% population of the organism grows at 45 degrees Celsius, and at 46 degrees Celsius the organism does not grow at all. Right. So this is elevated temperature test. When you elevate the temperature, when you go on elevating the temperature, the non-fecal coliforms fail to grow, whereas fecal coliforms can grow even up to 45 degrees Celsius. A buffered tryptose lactose broth, as I told you, is the best medium. When it is inoculated with pure culture of coliform and incubated at a temperature of 45 degrees Celsius for 48 hours, gas production constitutes a positive test for fecal coliforms, 45 degrees. Another medium that is used is buffered boric acid lactose broth. The medium selectively inhibits growth and gas production by Aerobacter as well as by intermediate organism, whereas particularly all fecal coliforms or E. coli cultures produce acid and gas within 48 hours in the buffered boric acid lactose broth. This is elevated temperature test. So on the basis of these tests, the habitat or the organism, the origin of the organism, the gas production, the IMVIC classification and elevated temperature test, we can differentiate whether the coliform present is fecal in origin or non-fecal type of coliforms. So that is all about fecal and non-fecal coliforms, differentiation between fecal and non-fecal coliforms.